Welcome, friend. I'm James, your host, and today, we're diving into another captivating episode. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and get ready for a powerful story that's sure to resonate. If something hits home, share your thoughts in the comments. Let's dive in. I'm getting married in 2 weeks and just discovered my fiancée is helping her sister in an affair. I need to spill this before I explode. I never imagined I'd find myself in this kind of mess, especially not 2 weeks before what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I'm at a complete loss, and I'm hoping that putting this down in writing will somehow ease the burden on my mind. The weight of this revelation feels like a heavy shroud, suffocating and all-consuming. I've spent the last few hours cycling through emotions, shock, betrayal, anger, and a profound sadness that threatens to swallow me whole. My thoughts are racing, and I'm desperate for clarity. I've tried to piece together what happened, but the fragmented memories feel like shards of glass embedded in my mind, each one cutting deeper than the last. As I type this out, I'm hoping that maybe some perspective from the Reddit community can help illuminate a path forward or at least validate my feelings of devastation. My fiancée, Sarah, 28F, and I, 34M, have known each other for about 6 years, and we've been engaged for a year. From the very beginning, our connection felt electric, a spark that ignited into a passionate romance. I still remember the first time I saw her at that mutual friend's party, her laughter ringing out like music, instantly captivating everyone around her. We shared countless late-night conversations filled with laughter, dreams of a future together, and a deep understanding of each other's hopes and fears. It was a connection I had never experienced before, one that made me believe in love at first sight. We live in a charming little home in the outskirts of Los Angeles, a cozy oasis surrounded by towering palm trees and a landscape dotted with vibrant flowers. The neighborhood is serene and picturesque, with warm evenings spent on our patio, sipping wine under the stars. We often spent weekends together, exploring the city, hiking in the nearby hills, or simply enjoying quiet evenings in our backyard, planning our future. We had painted a beautiful picture of a life filled with love and adventure, and I truly believed that nothing could shatter that dream. But tonight, everything has come crashing down in a way I never expected. It started out as a calm evening, Sarah in the kitchen, her hair pulled back in a messy bun, humming softly to herself while prepping dinner. The aroma of garlic and herbs filled the air, mingling with the sound of sizzling pans, wrapping around me like a warm embrace. I could see her focus, the way she carefully arranged the ingredients, adding a pinch of salt here and a dash of pepper there. It was a comforting scene, one that had become a staple in our lives together. The soft glow of the kitchen lights illuminated her face, making her look radiant, and I felt a familiar warmth in my chest as I watched her. I was outside, toiling away on my latest project, a beautiful pagoda and fire pit we envisioned using for cozy fall evenings with friends and family. The sun was setting, casting a golden hue over our backyard, a picture of domestic bliss that now feels like a cruel illusion. The weight of our shared dreams pressed down on me, filling me with a sense of purpose and anticipation. I felt proud as I imagined friends gathered around the fire, sharing stories and laughter under the stars. After an hour of labor, I felt parched and made my way inside for a drink. That's when I stumbled upon the scene that shattered my world. As I walked in, I heard Sarah chatting on speakerphone with my brother-in-law, Marty. His voice echoed in the room, a familiar sound that had always brought a sense of comfort, but now felt laced with tension. I stood at the doorway, lingering for a moment, thinking it was just a casual conversation. I remember feeling a wave of relief wash over me, momentarily forgetting the weight of the wedding preparations pressing down on us. But then, I heard the words that sent my mind reeling. "Where's Evelyn?" Marty asked, concern threading through his voice. "I've been trying to get a hold of her all day." My heart sank, heavy with dread. Evelyn is Marty's wife, and I knew she wasn't at our place. The last time we had seen her was yesterday when she came over to help with some last-minute wedding decorations. I could feel my pulse quickening as I processed what I had just heard. My gut twisted in knots, and the warm, inviting atmosphere of the house turned cold and foreboding. The unease settled in like a fog, obscuring the comforting memories I had of Sarah and me together. The feeling of unease that settled in my gut was the first hint that something was off, but I brushed it aside, convincing myself I was overreacting. I walked into the kitchen, trying to mask my unease. "What's that about?" I asked, pouring myself a glass of water, my throat suddenly dry. Sarah glanced up from her phone and shrugged. Marty was just checking in on Evie. But I could see her fingers moving deftly across the screen, texting someone with an urgency that felt out of place. My heart raced. Why would she text her if she knew Marty was concerned? It was a detail that gnawed at me, a thread pulling me deeper into a dark rabbit hole I never wanted to explore. The very air around me felt charged with tension, and each second felt like an eternity as I tried to piece together the disjointed puzzle in front of me. It was like a surreal movie playing out in real life, and I was both a spectator and a prisoner. As I sat at the table, the pieces of a twisted puzzle began to fit together in my mind. First, why lie about Evelyn being there? Second, why claim she was home when clearly she was not? And lastly, why would Sarah say Evie would be back soon unless she was covering for her? My mind whirled with the implications. Was Sarah lying to Marty? Was she trying to protect her sister from her own husband? The thought was unbearable, yet it gnawed at me relentlessly. Hours ticked by, and my thoughts spiraled into a tornado of confusion and anger. I wanted to confront Sarah, but my gut told me that if I did, I wouldn't get a straight answer. Instead, I spent the evening pacing, replaying every detail in my mind, each scenario worse than the last. Each time I recalled Sarah's casual demeanor, my stomach twisted tighter. How could she act so nonchalantly when it seemed her sister was embroiled in something so scandalous? I felt like I was in a psychological maze, each turn revealing another troubling possibility. The image of the wedding, the floral arrangements, the dress, the guests, all flashed through my mind, tainted by the truth that was beginning to unravel. I envisioned the church filled with loved ones, their faces beaming with joy and anticipation, unaware of the dark cloud hanging over us. It felt like I was standing on a cliff, staring down into a chasm of uncertainty and despair, the ground beneath me crumbling away with each passing moment. The laughter that once echoed in our home now felt like a distant memory, a cruel reminder of the happiness I thought I had secured. Finally, around 1 a.m., I woke up, my heart racing. I needed to know. The urge to uncover the truth consumed me, and I tiptoed to our bedroom, glancing at Sarah, who was fast asleep, her face serene and peaceful, a stark contrast to the turmoil churning within me. I grabbed her phone from the bedside table. We both knew each other's pins, so I had no trouble unlocking it. My heart pounded in my chest as I retreated to the bathroom, locking the door behind me. The quiet of the night was deafening, amplifying my racing thoughts and fears. I could hear my own heartbeat thundering in my ears, drowning out the sounds of the world outside. What I found in her messages made my blood run cold. Hundreds of texts between Sarah and Evelyn detailing a 6-month-long affair. The realization hit me like a freight train, each message a dagger to my heart. I scrolled through the exchanges, my hands shaking as the contents blurred before my eyes. Evelyn had been cheating on Marty with a coworker, and Sarah had been complicit all along. The messages were graphic and raw, discussing not just the affair but mocking Marty and revealing their intimate secrets. My world felt like it was crumbling around me, and I felt bile rise in my throat as I scrolled through their exchanges, realizing how deep this betrayal ran. It was as if I had stumbled into an alternate universe where trust and love were replaced by deceit and complicity, and I was left standing alone, bewildered and heartbroken. I snapped screenshots, each one another stab to my heart. My soon-to-be wife was playing the role of accomplice in a betrayal that could ruin not just one, but 2 families. I was filled with rage, disgust, and an overwhelming sense of betrayal. The messages painted a picture of a world I had never wanted to see, one filled with secrets and lies that I had unwittingly stepped into. Each text was a revelation that cut deeper than the last, exposing layers of betrayal I hadn't imagined possible. This wasn't Just a simple lie. This was a web of deceit involving her sister, her husband, and their 2-year-old daughter. The implications were staggering, and I felt my world tilting on its axis, the familiar turning foreign and hostile. I felt as if I were losing my grip on reality, and every moment of clarity was accompanied by waves of anger and despair. I put the phone back and retreated to my home office, pacing like a caged animal, unable to find any semblance of peace. The walls of my office felt like they were closing in on me, and I couldn't escape the whirlwind of emotions that battered my mind. I felt a primal scream building inside me, but I stifled it, choosing instead to pour my heart out here on Reddit, hoping for clarity. I needed to share my story, to connect with others who might have experienced similar betrayals, or to find someone who could help me make sense of this chaos. I am utterly screwed. I cannot marry Sarah. The thought of standing before family and friends, pledging my love to someone who has been so deceitful, feels impossible. The image of our wedding day looms over me, a dark shadow of a reality that I can no longer bear to envision. I can almost see the church filled with smiling faces, the celebratory decorations, the vibrant flowers I had picked out with her, each detail now tainted with the knowledge of her betrayal. Yet here I am, facing a wedding that's only 2 weeks away, filled with expectations, money spent, and smiles that now seem utterly hollow. I can't help but think about the people who have invested so much in this union, the family members traveling from far away to celebrate a love that feels like a cruel farce. The weight of their anticipation crushes me under its enormity. How do I confront her? What can she possibly say to justify her actions? I know there's no reasonable explanation that could absolve her of this betrayal, and deep down, I fear the confrontation that looms ahead. Every rational explanation I can think of crumbles under the weight of what I've discovered. My heart aches for Marty and his daughter. How can I let this slide? How can I share a life with someone who's so willing to hurt her own family? The thought of the innocent little girl, blissfully unaware of the chaos unfolding around her, adds another layer of anguish to my already fractured heart. It's as if I'm standing at the center of a storm, caught in the eye of a hurricane that threatens to rip apart everything I hold dear. But the reality is, I'm still in love with Sarah. She's beautiful, witty, and kind. We've built dreams together, and now, that picture-perfect future feels like a cruel joke. I can still hear her laughter echoing in the corners of my mind, feel the warmth of her touch lingering on my skin. I remember how her eyes sparkled with joy when we talked about our future, how her smile could light up the darkest days. Those memories are now tainted with the bitter taste of betrayal, leaving me grappling with the question of how I could have been so blind. I feel trapped in a paradox, torn between the love I still feel for her and the betrayal that has shattered my trust. As I sit here, feeling lost and betrayed, I'm desperately seeking advice. How do I navigate this nightmare? How do I confront the woman I thought I knew, the one who was supposed to be my partner for life? Every scenario plays out in my mind, each one ending in heartbreak and devastation. I imagine confronting her, the way her face might change when the truth comes crashing down on her like a wave, and I wonder if she'll try to deny it or twist it into something I could accept. I feel like I'm on the edge of a precipice, and I'm terrified of what comes next. Do I cancel the wedding and lose everything we've built together? Do I confront her and risk the fallout, not just for us, but for our families? The uncertainty gnaws at me, keeping me awake at night, and I find myself haunted by questions that have no answers. I need guidance. And I'm reaching out to you, Reddit. I know you're a community filled with diverse experiences and wisdom. I need to know how to approach this situation, how to confront Sarah without losing my sanity in the process. Should I call her out right away, or should I gather more evidence first? How do I communicate the pain I feel without letting the anger consume me? I feel like I'm standing in the ashes of my dreams, trying to find a way to rebuild, but the path is shrouded in darkness. Any advice or words of wisdom would be greatly appreciated because I'm at a loss right now, and I'm desperate for a way out of this nightmare.